every time going into that inner bank, I was probably going in there harder than I ever did because I'm like, I'm not getting in another crash.
As soon as like we're out of the burnout box on the line, I'm just another chump. He's ready to put on the trailer. Put it in 4 low and drive up that hill. And I'm like, first of all, what's 4 low? Second of all, this is a joke, right?
I started competing just before I turned 15 years old and won my first pro event when I was 15, beating my own brother.
What's up? This is Ron Bergenholtz. We have some great guests for you. We have who would I like to call, and as you can see, I'm wearing my Michael Jordan shirt. We have the GOAT, James Deane, and who I'd like, with the utmost respect, and I always call him this every day, the new Carroll Shelby and Vaughn Gittin Jr. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming out. You guys are the shit. You guys are doubly the shit. I got mad respect, mad love for both of you and your accomplishment. I get it. You guys got Long Beach coming up this weekend, or actually tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Right? And it's an interesting dynamic with you. You're the boss, and then he's basically, the GOAT drives for you, right? So what I'm curious about, and mind you, it's good. We're about the same generation, right? And these young whippersnappers, right? I'm rooting for you because, old guys rule, right? Old guys rule, right?
I'm catching up pretty quick.
Yeah, and that's another subject for later. So, I got, despite your little reaction test there that you let out a couple days ago, I was just like, damn, Vaughn's reaction times suck. Maybe I should change my $1,000 bet to James. But hey,
Don't change it.
Old guys rule. Who's gonna do better, or better yet, win?
Well, I think Vaughn has been talking a lot on social recently that he's taking me down.
Tell him to his face.
Yeah, he's told me to my face, even on the way on this trip.
I did. We were
to
just
the
talking
studio.
about it.
What'd you tell him?
I told him I was going to whoop his ass this weekend.
And I just laughed.
Man, we were talking about, how you get to it, and how you get in it. And at this point in my career, that's my way. I look at the top and that's what I'm going for. And I'm very happy to have fun, especially him being a longtime friend, now a driver of the team, and being able to talk that smack publicly. And I'm okay with either side of the coin, but that's how I get there these days. Like when I'm going to compete at Formula D, who's the top dog, and that's who I'm taking down. Like that's where I get in my vibe. And so that's what I'm doing. It just so happens to be Mr. James Deane this weekend.
Your friend, okay, the way I see it, right? Your friends before the lights go down, right? I'm going to kick your fucking ass.
It's good. It's always a good time when we battle, and you just, first and foremost, you're putting on a show for the fans. Whoever wins, it is going to be a bonus for that driver. But, like we've battled in Atlanta, and the energy in Top 32 2 times, but the energy from the fans, like we never see Top 32 that busy and that atmosphere to see 2 RTR Mustangs go send it, and anything can happen in that battle. And that's what I love about it.
The thing that's interesting, right, between you guys is dynamic, right? You have the same car, the same Nitto G2s, right? Same horsepower, right? And now at that point, since it's the same car, same tires, same everything, right? It's just a matter of who's got the better skill.
Yeah.
Who's the better man in that moment? And it's exciting. And the one thing that I can always count on with James is just a clean battle, and like for me, that is the goal, like being paired up with a driver that allows you to be your best. And James is one of those drivers.
I'd be careful, James, because in Long Beach, when he went up against Chelsea Denofa, Vaughn took his ass out.
I know. What I love about this weekend too, like Vaughn was in a conflicting position the last 2 times we battled, because both years I was going for the championship and it was only the second round. So I know he was having some thoughts like, I want to win, but this could mess up our year at the end of the season. So, but we, when it came to it, we both agreed that we're going for it and going hard. And yeah, this is kind of the first weekend. I actually hope we get the battle this weekend because
we
he's
don't
not
have to worry
worried
about that.
He's not worried about my championship. I'm not worried about his weekend. And
Why aren't we worried about your championship,
It's
James?
done.
He got it done.
You already won it.
The GOAT does what the GOAT does,
Dude,
right?
He's unbelievable.
But here, considering this podcast will come after the fact, right? Now, I would you're in seeding rounds, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the seeding rounds, and I was like, Vaughn should have no problem. Old man Vaughn should have no problem with all these guys, right?
But I'm 29. What
You're
are you
not
talking
29.
about? What are you talking about?
29.
That's
What I
Yeah.
identify as, okay?
Identify as. Oh my God. So here's my recommendation, right? Not to manipulate the ladder or anything, but of course, right? My recommendation to you, right, is when you come up into the seeding rounds and when you get into the final, don't win. Because right here, I was looking at the ladder because here's the reason why I'm saying this, right? Is so that way it'd be really fucking cool, right? To see an RTR final, right? Young guy versus old guy, right? In the final, right? And so the way the ladder stacks up is James Deane's here on the
He's
left,
got a
right?
map over here, buddy.
He knows
this
more
is what
than
I
we do,
right? So first place seeding ends up here on the left corner, and you got some heavy hitters in there. Connor, Manoa.
Who? Oh.
Connor Shanahan.
Oh.
Yeah. His fellow Irish countrymen. And dude,
okay.
you got to be careful of those Irish guys. They put
They
crazy.
are.
They're
another
crazy,
level, dude. They are.
dude. It's funny, Dean Kearney, right? I go, you guys are so aggressive. What do you guys do like after drinking? You guys just beat up each other? He goes, yeah. I was like, oh my God, dude, you guys are so aggressive. So on that left corner, if you're to win, right, there's a lot of hitters out there. No back. Dude, I feel sorry for him.
Tell me he's running Osbo again.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Yeah, it's so sad.
That's ridiculous.
No back is that's a
He
bad
is.
man, right?
But when he's got a driver, he can be confident in. He turns it on.
No back. Osbo's got no back again. I'm like going, oh my gosh. So if you're to win, I mean, don't get me wrong.
It would be worthwhile for me to be on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, look at this top right? Top right, LZ, Jack, Stookie, Rome, and then you'd get the guy that replaced Daigo, and that's on the second seeding. So if you were to go here and win seeding, right,
Yeah.
you'd have to go up against,
James in the Final Four.
The Final Four. We don't want that.
Yeah.
What we want
Is the finals.
The dream, and I'm calling it right now, and I believe in you despite your reaction time, right?
I was off my game.
He didn't warm up.
No,
and by the time he gets to the final, he'll be warm.
So
Well, here's the thing, Ron, and I see you, right? And I agree with you. But you know what? Every time I've tried to control the outcome, it has bit me in the ass. Every single time.
really?
I've tried to play this game and seeding and be like, oh, I'm going to do that. And then it just,
I'm
so
a
we'll
number-
see.
I'm a
we'll
numbers
see where
guy.
it goes. I'll see what feels good in the moment.
Don't win seeding.
Okay. All right. We might save the car. We'll see.
And you know what's funny, right? Throughout all the years of Mustang battles, when you see Mustangs line up during the round, you know it's going to be a fucking show, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The Chelsea Denofa days, all that stuff that's happened. When you see two RTR Mustangs lined up, you're like,
Yeah, get the camera phones. Yeah.
oh man, there's gonna be some crazy shit that's gonna
yeah.
happen. We gotta watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's standard issue. You see, this is just a jab, right? You see two Toyotas roll up, you're going like, that should be a good battle, but when you
Thanks,
see
Ron.
two RTRs rolled up, damn, you're in for some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some things, right? I mean, the Chelsea thing in Long Beach was a big deal. Miss Chelsea wanted to murder me that night at the Pike. She was so angry, and it was really that like turned into a thing. But we just go hard, and this is drifting, and like Chelsea's such a lunatic live wire,
he's a lunatic.
and I go pretty hard, and things can go bad quickly in drifting, and it has.
So let me ask you this, right? Knowing that the boss is next to you, right? Is it all, dude, I'm going to wreck your shit right now. I'm I'm gonna show you the door. Is that what goes in through the mind when you're up against Vaughn Gittin Jr., knowing his track record is running over people, doing all kinds of stuff? What's going through your mind knowing that the boss is next to you?
Honestly, it gives me a sense of relief, right? Because, you know, your boss wants you to win when you're not battling him, right? So if I lose, he's happy because he wins. But if I win, he's happy because I might go further on and you know, try to win the event. So
pretty much.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, it's all good vibes between us, and like we're smiling at each other. And just before we go into the burnout box, we're looking back and forth, thumbs up, and maybe middle fingers too. It depends on the moment.
Well,
you just go for it, man.
I was hoping you'd say it's just like, you know what, boss? I'm the GOAT, and you better recognize.
I mean, there's no doubt that as soon as like we're out of the burnout box and on the line, I'm just another chump he's ready to put on the trailer. I mean, that's the true, honest thing. He'll never.
But you're
say
not
it.
a chump. He'll
never say it, but that's the reality.
Never say it. Yeah.
No, it's always like, honestly, it's always good vibes, and you just do your best in that moment. You know, if you win, you're like, yeah, and if you don't.
Yeah,
he's happy.
Yeah, you either win or lose, and you take it for what it is. You know what I mean? You guys are sitting here together, right? And how did this happen? Why are both of you together? And what's the backstory? I mean, was it like a Chelsea Denoff where James Deane basically called you up? Hey, I'm your next driver.
No,
you need me.
Well, I mean, the relationship goes back to when James was 16 and he first came over to FD.
I remember.
You know,
right.
Darren.
McNamara.
I had put Darren onto the team at the time, and then Darren obviously knew James. And when James came over, you know, I've always been that guy that's like sees talent and passion and like some level of like always had something in me like want to help. And so when I saw James and then like saw this young kid who just knew everything and was so passionate and been driving, you know, for, you know, the story that I heard,
the it factor,
driving him forever. And, you know, and so I just saw this kid that, you know, and Darren was impressive at the time. And so I'm like, of course, associating him with the Irish talent. And anyway, like we hit it off pretty decent his first couple of years coming over to the US. And jump in anytime, James. But when it really got serious was, you know, James and Peter were here, and then they left. And then we met at Goodwood. We had a sit down at Goodwood in 19?
We had a sit down in Goodwood, and I think before that, I think when that
Wait, who approached who for the sit down?
I think, as far as I remember, right, the announcement went out that we're splitting ways with Worthhouse and doing our own direction. And I think you messaged me like saying something like, "Oh, if you're ever thinking about coming back to FD, let's have a conversation before you make any choices." So I think that was the initial hit.
Yeah.
And then we met at Speed Week. That was during COVID, so that was 2020. So summer of 2020.
So a year later.
Was it 2020? Okay.
Yeah.
A year later, after you planted the seed, finally you got to talk about it at Goodwood.
Yeah, we were at the same place and we sat and talked about it, and both were excited about it. We just couldn't make it happen that year, and that's the year that we brought Adam on. And you know, we did the program with myself, Chelsea, Adam.
Yeah.
And then
triple threat.
Towards the end of that, it evolved to Chelsea, James, and myself and Adam splitting a car.
Ooh.
And so, you know, we made it work. Like it really, frankly, it was just, you know, timing and just putting it all together for everybody. And so, you know, we made it work, and it's been unbelievable, you know, and it's it's just been an unbelievable relationship.
Really unbelievable.
Well, on the track, but you know, there's a whole lot more behind it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you are choosing a driver to come represent not only your brand, but all of your partners, like it's a big decision. You know what I mean? And because it's like, I've built these relationships with these companies over the years.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's a big decision because I have to deliver. You know what I mean? And so
I get your pain. I get it.
Yeah. But it's not just the performance on the track. It's also off the track and the willingness to do the things that need to be done to earn the return, you know? And it's just been phenomenal with James and you know, I kind of, it's really interesting because, you know, when James came in, Chelsea was lead driver.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, his setup, you know, it took a while for him to get there, right? Chelsea came into the team. I was lead driver. We ran what we ran at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately evolved a little bit more towards Chelsea, which is a very unique approach and style to setting a car up. And then, you know, Chelsea moves out. James becomes lead driver. And now he's effectively in our team. That lead driver gets to really call the shots with the car for the most part, working with our engineer, of course. But the evolution that has happened with the car with James has made it something that like makes me look back at like 2015, 2017 when I'm like pogoing and riding wheelies. You know, he's like made it so easy.
Progression.
Yeah, he's made it so easy. But it's
what the fuck were we thinking in 2017? Holy shit, what kind of setup is that?
But I only knew what I knew. And frankly, the harder to drive cars made me much better. Because I had to be perfect. But now, like, I get in the car. I just did testing at the lab the other day, and I'm like, oh my God.
Feels like a demo car.
It does. But it's so fast and so, like, manageable. And so a lot of that goes to James because, you know, I've only driven Mustangs. You know what I mean? At the top level. And it started out, you know, what was given to me, and I just made it work.
But you're a fan of Mustangs.
Totally.
Yeah.
But the point is the dynamics. And James has driven so many different chassis, so he knows what a car can and should be.
His ass dyno is really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so it's been great, you know, on that front as well. So, you know, James is absolutely the full package and been an amazing teammate for Ben, and the whole team loves working with him. And so it's just been sick.
Question for you, right? Obviously, you guys worked together to get done. Did you have like, damn, Vaughn's an asshole on track?
What?
Were you ever stressed out? Anything that of concern were like for somebody like Vaughn Gittin Jr.?
Not
Because
really.
You're
like,
aggressive on track.
When we started chatting, right, and I love speaking with Vaughn because I look up to him. He gives great life advice, and he's experienced a lot, and you know his word is really worth a lot to me. So we kind of grew that relationship together as we've spent time together. But I felt my biggest worry jumping into that seat was the car. So when I first tested it, I was like, holy, this thing is so different to anything else I've ever experienced. And I'm not just
RTR.
like, not a little bit different, but like I could feel it in the burnout box before I ever tried a lap. Like steering, just the feeling, the way the whole car reacted was just totally opposite to what I was used to. So like we did that test, and I managed to, you know, get a handle on the car pretty quick, and we're doing some good stuff by the end of the day. But I remember leaving that test, I'm like, I really want to drive with RTR, but I'm like, what if I can't manage this? What if I can't get success in this car just because it's so different to what I'm used to? And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is going to be a real challenge, but I feel like we can definitely improve the car towards my own style. And we just worked towards that. You know, obviously the first season was pretty challenging because you're getting used to the car and some new tracks, and there's a few things even with that car. You know, it was a chassis that was already built, so my seating position wasn't optimal. I wasn't like fully comfortable in the car. But going into the second season, we made quite a few changes to geometry, the steering, seating position, things like that. And from the first test, I was like, we can do this. You know, it felt like a different car. Yeah.
And I've always been, you know, like for me, in my company as a whole, like everyone thinks they work for me, but I actually feel like I work for them.
Nice.
Right? So my job with James was just make it very clear to him, like, look, I'm open to anything. You know, like we obviously need to work through the process with the team, and everyone needs to be on board, but lead the way. Like, let's get you what you need. And I mean, it's been
to help you succeed.
Right. If I'm expecting you to show up and win championships, you need to expect me to give you what you need to do that. Right. So, and that's really how the relationship has been. Like, there's not been one thing, you know, for the most part that I'm aware of, that James's requests have not been supported to help achieve what we're achieving.
You know what's funny that you mentioned that, right? For us as a company, Nitto, right? Me and Harry are like, what can we do to be of service, right? What can we do to pitch in? What can we do to help enable you guys for success? That's our biggest thing. Well, what do they need? Rather than just sit quiet and go, oh yeah, cool sticker, you know, doing a good job. No, rather than instead of sitting on our hands, you know, what can we do to help out? You know what I mean? Whether be, you know, tire analysis, or in this case, you know, giving information to all the spotters. Just what can we do? Even to me, it's just the being of service. You know, we're in my opinion, I think we're family, right? That's 100%. How we treat our partnerships as family, where we can, even if it's even a small 0.5%, at least we helped out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys bring great perspective. I've really enjoyed it. This is going on our 13th year working together with the Nitto. And it's really cool, the perspective that you have, because you've been around for so long and you're so aware and analytical, and
old,
you know, and like Harry with his passion to like be in the background making things happen, and it's a really cool dynamic that we have with you guys. It's a lot more than, you know, just tire and you know, partner support. It is you put a lot of love into what you do, Ron, and we appreciate it.
When we first got on board with you, right, you broke off and started doing your own thing, right? And, you know, at first you were, you know, just a driver, right? And we were with you right at the beginning. I think it was the beginning. When did you break off?
2012.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah, 2012, I believe, was my last year, and my first year with Nitto was 2013.
And the thing that amazes me beyond all recognition, and Nitto and all the people that represent Nitto, especially me and Harry's, we are honored to see what RTR has become. Dude, it's insane. I mean, even in the beginnings, but with Nitto being there from the start, and just going, damn, this fool's crazy, right? Being through all of it, and we're honored. Nitto's honored to be there with you throughout all this, or like what I like to call it, the RTR empire, right? Right? In 2014, even 2015, did you ever, especially your debut of a factory Ford-produced RTR Mustang last night on that reveal, right? Did you ever think that it was gonna become like? I mean, shit. You could. You could talk to the CEO right now if you wanted to, right? But did you ever think it would be like this?
I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's like you're head down, ass up. So you rarely like
work,
step back and like assess it, you know, like, you know, even like, you know, I still like pinch myself going into our shop. I mean, I bought a Kenny Schrader's old NASCAR facility, you know, and it's like still like it really hasn't, like, I don't want to say it's sunk in. It hasn't just become normal, like, you know, but it's like it was always on the dream board, right? To have a car produced with Ford, to be developing vehicles focused on enthusiast cars for us. Like at the end of the day, like I'm an enthusiast that gets to build like my dream Hot Wheels, you know? And like from a kid at 5 years old, literally getting like Hot Wheels pried out of my hands to take rings down my mom's wedding aisle. This is all I've ever wanted to do my whole life. And it's all I've thought about, you know, and there's been blips in between, right? But like, so did I ever think it would get here? I don't know. I never thought that it wouldn't get here. You know what I mean? But like, as much as I'm surprised and proud and grateful, I also know the effort that has gotten it here as well, you know? And a lot of it though, really like in hindsight is really, it's just living passion. And like, and just like that relentless just chase of what feels good. And I've never had, like, I still don't have a business plan. You know what I mean? Like when I started RTR, there was no business plan. Like it's a vision, but it's just like, this feels good. This is going to work. And like, that's just kind of how I feel that this world, you know, rewards you. And that's just, I've done business with my heart and passion and surrounding myself with good people. And I have the most amazing team. You know what I mean? And like when you have that energy and everyone is feeling the passion and in the vibe, you just keep attracting what it is that you're seeking. And so it's like, you know, I could pretend that there was this plan and we did that and we did this. And yeah, there's a method to what it is, But short summary is I'm not surprised, but I am extremely grateful.
Now, where are what you've accomplished with RTR today, right? Or at least I call it the RTR empire, right? I can't help but think of all the times that me and your dad would be in the back of a trailer somewhere hiding out smoking cigarettes, right? And he goes, I got Vaughn's doing this and Vaughn's doing that. I got to get this here, get that there. He's somewhere, right? He's watching somewhere, watching you do all these crazy things, right? And what you've accomplished, what would you tell him today?
Well, he's obviously, he's my biggest fan, and it was a big loss. We lost him.
I remember.
James, him and James's dad hit it off, and I don't think I'd tell him anything if he's here today, other than thank you. He was the reason why I was into cars. He was a used car salesman, old hot rodder, and he was always bringing cool cars home. He bought me my first go-kart, and like when I would go visit him, which was just about every weekend, it was just immersion in cars, working on cars, like whatever. And so he's a huge reason why I had that passion, and it's in my blood. So just thank you, and he was also motivation, because when I first started tinkering with my S13 and started building my first drift car, he didn't get it. He's American Muscle. He's like, he is making fun of me for working on. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Four bangers. Are you crazy?
Oh yeah. Big time. And, but he really got it and became my biggest fan and hugest supporter, so yeah, no, it would really just be thank you. But,
nice.
I know he'd be super proud and he got to see some great stuff though before, and before he rolled.
Completely different now.
Yeah.
It's obscenely different.
It is.
So, question for you, right? Your family, what did they think of you? I mean, I see you as the GOAT, of everything you've done, you know what I mean? What did they think of everything you've accomplished?
Yeah, my family have absolutely been my biggest supporters ever since I started chasing a dream when I was like 10 years old. That's when I knew that I wanted to somehow get into drifting and do it for myself. And
how did you know about drifting? How did all that start?
Long story short, first drift event in Ireland was December 2002, and my older brother Mike, I'm the youngest in my family by over 10 years, and my older brother Mike entered the first drift event. So they used to do rally and stuff, and my dad was into rallying, building rally cars and all of that. So motorsport was already in the blood. But came across the first drift event, and my brother entered it. I was there as my brother's biggest fan. I used to clean his cars, change tires, do whatever I could. He ended up winning the event.
Oh, wow. It's in the blood.
I just fell in love with the sport, and then started watching all the D1 stuff, started watching stuff from America, whatever I could get my hands on, playing video games, things like that. And then I started competing just before I turned 15 years old, and won my first pro event when I was 15, beating my own brother. So
damn whippersnappers.
Where was that? What event was that?
Rose Green, Pro Drift in Rose Green in Ireland. That's awesome. So it was my second pro event.
Oh, could you imagine the conversation home after that?
There actually was. So around the kitchen table, like on the Monday, like my brother said, the judges gave that one to you. My
God. So your brother's very critical. So
yeah, but he now builds all of my motors and everything. So he runs his own shop. We're all into motorsport and cars.
Wow.
My two brothers are two of the best crew guys I ever had. So they follow me worldwide.
Family.
Oh, his dad used to race.
Yeah, my dad used to race. There's some crazy stuff. If you can put in a photo, I'll send you something. But my dad was doing a rally stage, right? He was navigator with my uncle, and a throttle cable snapped in their Ford Mark II Escort, and my dad jumped out.
So you have Ford roots already to begin with.
My first drift car was a Ford Sierra. So yeah,
it all comes full circle, bud.
It's weird how
But throttle cable snapped. My uncle thought we're done. My dad said, "Let me have a look." So Took the hood off, threw the hood over the ditch, and he wedged himself between the firewall and the front panel. Wedged himself, like holding onto the windshield wiper panel with 2 fingers, and did the throttle with the rest. And there's a picture of them coming over a jump with 4 wheels off the ground. And my dad is sitting there.
Those Irish
like, wild.
people, they're
Wild.
crazy.
I wouldn't do that.
He's got an incredible family.
I met your dad at last year's banquet, and I was just like, how could this be James Deane's dad? Because you're so nice, and he's so aggressive.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he is a good man.
He is, but it was a banquet. He was probably partying. And
Yeah,
he knows
was
you.
just
He's
like,
trying to
look.
hang with you, probably.
Yeah. So no, they're super proud. They watch every single event. You know, live streams up all hours of the night, no matter what. Watching from Ireland. I always bring them out to the finals here.
So you got the whole family out here this week?
Yeah, I got my parents and 2 sisters and my nephew. So they watch everything. They come and support wherever they can. If I need extra crews, my brothers fall in, travel around with us in Europe.
Nice.
And really amazing circle. I'm very, very grateful to have that support since day
family.
1. Yeah.
Can't be family.
100%.
You got your cousin working for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't help but notice, just the thought came to mind. Obviously, in Utah, FD didn't have the trophy ready for you, but we have the trophy ready right here. 2025.
Check that out. I like the blue tape.
But at
Brilliant.
there you go, 2025. Right there.
I like that. It's official.
I love it.
That's official.
So I couldn't help but notice right when they announced it, right? And I'm a sucker for things like this, right? They interviewed you, and you had said that you dedicated the championship to an individual by the name of Alan Longy.
Yeah.
And you had brought up how I guess he had said that why are you wasting your money?
He was like a character, a very funny, witty guy, you know. And
Sounds like my kind of guy.
yeah. So we know each other 20 odd years, because he was like my 2 brothers' best friends, and then I became really close to him too. He was like a brother to me. He would even visit my parents like at least once a week, like have tea or coffee with them every couple of days. So he used to visit us all the time, and he even helped me with every single drift car we ever built. Like he loved cars. He was very smart when it came to tidy mounting things or making brackets or just small details he would do. If you needed parts collected, he'd figure that out. And so he's been part of my story since I started drifting.
Wow.
And unfortunately, at the end of this year, or in the start of this year, he took his own life. So something that was a big shock, and something that we didn't see coming. So, I pretty much thought about him every single day since then. And he always watched every single event I ever did. He even came to some FD events to support, and traveled all over Europe. And like one of my last messages from him was like pretty deep, and he was just saying, how grateful he was to have me and my family in his life. He said like I was like a brother to him, and he said thank you for showing me what is out in the world, because he said only for drifting and what I was doing and the support he was giving, he never would have left like our small hometown basically. So it opened his eyes to a lot of stuff. But it's just, I was thinking about him privately every single event I did this year, and I drove with passion. And I was even a little bit conflicted in Utah when I realized that we could win the championship. And I'm like, I don't know, do I want to win it here? Because, I didn't have family with me. I was there on my own, and Utah isn't like it's not like LA, for the vibes after the event and stuff. So I was a bit conflicted, and I just thought to myself, look, if I thought about Alan, and I said, look, if I do it here, it's for you. You know what I mean? And it was always going to be for him, but I just had him in his mind, and he was the first thing I thought of when it was official.
What do you think Longy's telling you now?
He's smiling, for sure. He's smiling. But as I said, when I said, he said, why are you wasting your time doing that? He was just being smart. You know, like, what are you doing? Like, you're wasting all that money at a stupid sport. You know, what are you wasting? Get a real job. You know, that's what he'd be like, get a real job. That's, you know, he was always having fun.
It's funny, right? We're all motorsports guys. We all chased our dreams, right? In my case, naysayers will say, you know, you should do this, right? You shouldn't be wasting your time and wasting all that money on the car, right? But you guys had the courage. Like, take for instance you, Vaughn, right? You're a computer IT guy, right? Yeah. And you know, it's tech. You know what I mean? You make good money, that sort of thing. 401ks, all that happy stuff. Now you're paying 401ks out, right? But did you have any naysayers that? And I'll get to you after I get to Vaughn, right? Where they're like, "Dude, you're crazy. You should stay with." I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like really. No, you know, aside from my dad kind of poking fun at the import thing. No, I mean, my parents were always, you know, supportive. Mm-hmm. And yeah, no, I really didn't. Like, there wasn't really any resistance really to anything that I've done. In general, it just hasn't been resistance. That's why I say it just like, I focus on what feels good. Right. And if there's a lot of resistance and I start asking, you know, what's the resistance from, you know? And so for me, no, it really was. I mean, there was challenges throughout the process, but never anyone that's like, you should not do this or negative about it at all. You know, it was just, yeah, it was very new, obviously. You know, I mean, I was on the first wave of this thing. And so,
yeah, that was when you were in IT and quit IT, that was the very beginnings.
Yeah. I mean, I was working IT. I mean, I quit my job in 2007. So I had been drifting at that point close to 4 or 5 years, right? FD started in 2004. Yeah. I won the USA versus Japan in 2005. And still in 2007, I wasn't like making the living that I was making in IT. But I also like had one foot in my passion and one foot in the reality, which was basically a means to my passion, you know? And, you know, I took that leap and it felt right. It was scary, but it, you know.
What was scary?
Just the comfort. You know, I was 27 years old. I was making really good money and big bonuses every year and had a cushy job that let me do whatever I wanted. Mm-hmm. I could leave and go race and, you know, it was great. And I could literally still be there today. Yeah. But I was scared. But then once I started diving into it and just felt so strongly about it, I just came to the realization, I'm like, look, if I don't try this right now, I could kick myself in the ass for the rest of my life. But if I do try and it doesn't work, like I'm not going to lose my brain. And if I lose my brain, then none of it matters anyway. So that was, you know what I mean? So like that was really like I'm doing this. And you know, I quit my job that year and won the world championship in 2007 and frankly just never looked back. You know, just made it work, you know, and went from, you know, driving for a team to then, you know, myself, my wife, and my dad starting our own little like demo exhibition thing to then, you know, launching the team in 2013. And, you know, here we are now with three full-time cars. Yeah, it felt right. You know what I mean? And that's how I've always done everything, you know? And so like when I build cars or create or like think the vision for the next RTR product, like it just really like, what feels good, you know, like it's really like the motto really is just cool wins. I just want to do
cool people.
Sure. You know, yeah. Cool people. So yeah, that was it. And again, there's no resistance. So not really any universal or people resistance that I can remember.
That's a hell of a risk. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to delve in. You know, when I first met you, it was like, I'm an IT guy, right? And to leave that and go for it and be broke, hypothetically, or I would imagine you were pretty broke back.
I mean, it was literally I when I left in 2007, I was making less than half the money just from drifting than I was in IT.
Yeah, that's a hell of a leap of faith.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And did you get any resistance? Oh, well, you come from a motorsports family. Yeah, go ahead. If you want to make $1 million, start with $2 million.
Not from the family. So I actually left school pretty young. So that was the biggest thing. I had to kind of show them that I'm serious about this and I believe I can make it work. And my dad believed me, and he was like, "Okay, if you're going to work hard, we trust you, but you can't just get lazy." So I left school when I was 16.
Wow.
So what would that have been? 11th grade? What is that?
So we have different. It's different in Ireland. It's like years. So I left in 5th year. So like a year before your final exams. And the reason I left was because we got a tire deal to compete in the European Championship as well as the Irish Championship, and that was the same year that I won both championships that year anyway when I left school. And I couldn't take any more time off school because they were telling me you either need to stop coming or you need to forget about your thing drifting and focus on school, So I was in that position and I was like, there's no way I'm stopping drifting. I was finally starting to get some sponsors, doing well on track, and I managed to win the Pro Drift Irish Championship and the European Championship the same year and got the invite to Red Bull World Drift Championships in 2008.
Wow, you left school at 16. Crazy.
Yeah. But I believed I could do it, and I got a job immediately because my parents couldn't support me, paying for everything, and I needed to make the money on my own. So I just worked day and night, multiple different things, and whatever I could do to make enough money to make it to the track at the weekend, because I knew that I believed in the dream, and like lots of people around me thought I was crazy. Like people in school, like, what are you doing with this drifting stuff? And
really,
you had some people that loved it and they were like your core fan group, and then you had people that hated drifting. And the Irish Championship at the time was called Pro Drift, and like this other group were making their own hoodies with anti-drift. Like,
really?
It was that stupid in school, But
so
it was like
they were hating that hard.
Oh, hating
really?
Hard. Yeah. Because I guess you're a kid, right? You're racing a car. You're at events with thousands of people, and then you arrive back into school on a Monday, and you have these amazing stories while the other kids were just around the corner smoking in a garden shed or something. So
it's so interesting to hear that about high school, because I never had that experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was out of that.
These young whippersnappers are starting early.
So it's interesting to see how, because everyone knows the high school dynamics.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that. It's interesting hearing that.
Well, let me ask you this, right? If they're hating on you, right? And mind you, how tall are you? 6'6"?
6'6", yeah.
6'6", right? Is everybody 6'6" in Ireland?
No.
All right, so were you the tallest one in high school?
Absolutely.
Okay,
sure.
So with you, the tallest one, hey, no, you're not talking shit on me. I will crush you. But they still talk shit on you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
But, like, it was just a certain group of people from a certain area, and it wasn't, like, the nicest area.
Oh, really?
So
it's jealousy,
it's just
basically.
part of
That's
it.
high school.
But anyway, I had to convince my parents that I think I know what I'm doing, and I'm really going to chase it, and I did. I worked hard for it. I kept my word. I didn't mess around, and I just kept on going until... here we are.
How did you go? Mom, Dad, we need to talk. We had to have a come to Jesus meeting. And then you gave your proposal to them. And what did they just said, you better work hard.
No, they wanted to talk about it. And my parents actually went and spoke to the principal of the school just to like have a chat with her and see if it was the right thing or if they're making
They consulted the principal.
Yeah,
huh?
they just wanted feedback. And, a lot of the teachers in my school were they were actually seeing what I was doing. And like I could come back from, I don't know, Germany after competing in a round. And they're like, how was it? They're interested. They used to let me off without, skipping some homework because, I'd tell them that I was in the workshop late last night. I really got a lot of leeway. But
Nice.
they were all very supportive. And
Wow.
they knew I was doing something serious.
So I'd imagine they said, you're talented. You don't need to be in school. Go chase your dreams.
Yeah, and even if the drifting didn't work out, I knew I wanted to be involved in motorsport, and like my brother already had that thing going. So if this didn't work out, I probably would have ended up working with him, on the motorsport side. So I already kind of had my plans made and knew what I wanted to do.
You know what's silly? Your story is the same thing that happened to me, right? But bachelor's in biology, ready to go to pre-med, right? I wanted to be a surgeon, right?
What?
And before you go to pre-med, they assign you a mentor, right? And I was in the ER with him, helping and observing what he does, right? He was like 42 and I was like 21, 22. Instead of high school, now this is college, right? And he's like, Ron, why are you trying to become a doctor, right? A surgeon. And I go, well, I'm good at it. He goes, what do you love? I go, I love racing. And at that time, it was street racing. There was no organized racing. It was street racing. I go, I love racing. And he told me, he goes, go racing if that's what you love. He goes, I am 42. And he goes, I've been studying my whole fucking life, right? And I can't get my youth back. I can't go back. I'm 42. I'm never home. I'm working nonstop in the ER. And he goes, go do that racing. If you want to be a doctor, you can always come back, right? And I hid all those tuition fees and lied to my parents, all that money, and dumped it into my car. Right?
For real?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I hid that from him for about a year and a half. And mind you, I left pre-med to go street racing, right? And work on cars and just work on my friends' cars. That's all I did. And that's why I ask you these questions, like, you have IT or going to school and finishing, right? Me trying to become a surgeon, right? Instead of a doctor on cars, a doctor on humans, right? The human body always intrigued me. And, taking that leap and having people that support you in chasing your dreams, that's, to me, that leap of faith is insane. But one thing, the same saying goes that when you have passion and your heart is on fire and your brain is on fire, there's no stopping that man or woman.
100%.
There's no stopping that man or woman. And if you enjoy what you do and you're passionate and love it, never work a day.
That is a factual statement.
And I tell I teach, I'm like a youth minister at my church, right? And I teach them, I go, if you follow they're all finding themselves and that sort of thing. And I tell them, if you follow your heart and your heart is good and you go all the way, it'll naturally happen. Don't be chasing money or fame. Chase your passion and it'll naturally. If you want to be the greatest butterfly catcher in the world, yeah, it'll come being the greatest butterfly. And in this case, the GOAT and Mr. Shelby. And that's the truth of the matter. That's why I got mad respect, because I've been there, right? Not that I've gotten to where you guys have gotten, but I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. Thank you for sharing that with our viewers and
Heck yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Off-road, man. How? And mind you, most of your competitive racing that when you're behind the wheel is off-road. Mind you, how did that all start going off-road? Just, Mustang, drifting. Wait, you know what? I like dirt. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, I started off in motocross.
Oh, okay.
So, and then, drifting became a passion. And I was a winning C rider. There's A, B, C, D class. So I was like, mid-pack B rider, winning C rider. And, but cars was my thing. I love cars. So, but I was I'll never forget this. It was like 2015. I was on my yearly Jamaica vacation with my family on the beach, and Harry called me.
Oh, Harry, yeah.
And I'm like, I got toes in the water. I'm like, what's up,
really?
man?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 100% on the beach. I remember, like, vividly, I'm, like, circling. I walk in circles sometimes. So I'm on the phone. And I'm talking to Harry, and he's like, I wanted to see if you would be interested. We have this spec truck available for King of the Hammers. And I'm like, is that race with, like, the big boulders and, like, the desert and, like, the gnarly stuff? Is that King of the Hammers? He's like, yeah, that. And I'm like, and this is probably December, and King of the Hammers is February.
Yeah,
so
correct.
I'm like, I get back from the beach, I go straight to King of the Hammers basically. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in. I'm in, right? And I was already like, professional fun haver and already kind of in my mind, like wanting to expand, and already kind of had this decision to start doing other things than drifting. And so I went out to King of the Hammers, and like for anyone that's been to Hammers, I'll tell you there's a funny story.
You left the family from
no.
Okay.
This was December. I was on vacation.
Okay.
Came home, and then King of the Hammers is in February.
I
had
it.
a little bit of time in January home, and then went to Hammers. And I showed up to Hammers for the first time in a rental car with brand new shoes on. I had no idea, right? And I get to the lake bed, dude, and it's like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome with race cars.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm there, and I'm like hopping this. I get there, and Harry's there, and Chris from Nitto's there, and they, show me the truck, and I'm in the truck, and I'm probably making like race car noises. And all of a sudden, Lauren Healy jumps in the passenger seat.
What's going through your mind through all this?
I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Total fish out of water. But I'm also like, I can drive. Like, let's see where this goes, And so Lauren hops in the truck.
Not nervous?
Fish out of water. I mean, nervous, excited.
Oh, wow.
But I also feel that like nervous and excited are like the opposite sides of the same emotion. So
I get it.
What do you see? Glass is half full for me. So I was
Nice.
excited. And so Lauren hops in, and I knew of Lauren because from Nitto, obviously, and I knew, he's basically me in drifting and off-road. Right? He's very decorated
true.
and just super, super badass. And he's like, all right, well, let's go. Let's show you how to drive this thing. I'm like, all right. So this dude takes me over to this waterfall. Right. And it's like this, right? And for those of you who can't tell my hand, it's straight up. And he's like, put it in 4 low and drive up that hill. And I'm like, first of all, what's 4 low? Second of all, this is a joke, right? I'm like, we're not going up this, right? So he shows me how to, use the twin sticks and put it in 4 low. And I'm just like, and I'm like, okay, this is what this does. So I spent a little time, practicing with him and Bailey Cole and a couple others. And, the next morning I'm in the truck at the start line at King of the Hammers. And I finished in the top 10 and became one of the first crossover drivers to finish, let alone finish in the top 10 at Hammers. And I fell in love with the experience. I fell in love with the challenge. And that year I built OG Brocky.
Yeah,
so 2017, I debuted OG Brocky. And I also, in the back of my mind, I knew that a new Bronco was going to be coming with Ford. And so there was a little bit of posturing and opportunity that I was seeing. Mm-hmm. But I made a deal with the RC company New Bright that year, and we basically produced a RC version of the race truck. And that's how I afforded to build the race truck. And I went out and started racing. But I didn't just start racing. I took the mindset that we have had in drifting of media and content, because nobody was doing this in off-road.
Nobody was doing that.
So I took all of like that and my business mindset and started attacking off-road with it while I was still full-time drifting. Mm-hmm. And then, just started to make a name for myself, started to be really successful. My truck got outlawed in the class because I was being pretty dominant. I was the only driver out there with independent front suspension. And
I remember that.
And it was a gray area. And anyway, the drivers got together and voted me out and basically forced me into the 4400, the unlimited class. I wanted to do the right way and learn. I didn't want to just jump into 44. I wanted to just go through the process. Anyway, I got pushed into 44, and it was around that time that me and Lauren partnered up. And I've just really fallen in love with the adventure, the challenge.
It's like an Iron Man.
Yeah, it is. It is brutal. But the thing with it is like drifting is translated so well to the sport. Yeah. Because the vehicle placement, the throttle control, the just ability to rein a vehicle in when it gets out of control or it's a bad buck, and like it just translated so well. So I've really had to focus on line, like in the rocks and things like that, which Lauren has been a credible mentor. And and now, we're running at the top, and we have an incredible team that's like close to mirroring what we're doing in drifting.
Dude,
we just built a new facility.
You got RTR West.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have RTR, the RTR Empire. RTR East, which is basically, your Mustang line.
Europe kicking
RTR
off.
Europe kicking off. I saw that. I was just like, man, RTR Empire.
Yeah, it's sick.
But with that off-road, right? Mind you, you're the new kid in high school, right? Coming into a landscape of drivers.
OGs.
OGs.
Oh, yeah.
10 to 15 years experience. And you're just, oh, I'm Vaughn.
Oh, dude, I got a story for that, actually. They were pretty rough on me.
I would
honestly.
imagine.
Yeah, and
who the fuck is this Vaughn? There's no drifter coming
I'll
here.
never forget this. We were going up back door, and one of the Gomez brothers, I love you guys, by the way, now. But he was literally helping everybody winch up. He had broke, and like it's a very sportsmanship camaraderie type sport. And he's helping everybody winch up back door. And he did not help me winch up back there. So my co-driver had to get out.
Leave the rookie down there.
Oh, yeah.
Leave the rookie down there.
I felt disrespected, but I also get it. You got to earn the respect, and I get that. And now it's all fun. But yeah, they were tough.
Yeah, you're the freshman.
Yeah. But I don't come from that. I've seen a lot of freshmen coming to drifting, and I was always the supporter, like hand on the back guy. So it was weird to me because I couldn't relate to that. But at the end of the day, it just creates more motivation, and it's fun when I whip their asses now. So
Vaughn's at the bottom of the hill going, can you winch me up too? No, rookie, you're not getting winched up.
Yeah, no, but it's all good, and it's amazing. And like I talk to James about it all the time because he'd be unbelievable in off-road truck.
Now with that question, right? I couldn't help but notice your compound on your videos, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got the oval there and a lot of dirt section, right? I'm like going, I can imagine Vaughn, and by the way, I have to applaud you on that move with putting Bailey Campbell as part of the RTR crew.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Yeah. And mind you, even though she's a girl, that chick, she can weld, she can do everything, right? She's badass.
So unassuming and such a badass.
So RTR Off-Road New Mexico, right? Have you ever thought about doing off-road? I mean, I'd love to give you a set of grapplers to use on your compound, because I was just like watching the video. You guys were doing a challenge with some bucket Volvo or something.
Yeah.
I go, they need a set of grapplers out there. We should get them some set of grapplers and shit, send them a Bronco.
Yeah.
It's a real funny story. So when I was young in school, I think about 9 years old, we had this thing to do in school, like write a book competition, right? And it was like, write about your passion, what you want to do when you grow up. And it was actually made into a book, and I still have it, right? And at the end of it, it's like notes about the author or something like that. And it was like, one question was, what do you want to achieve when, in your life? And I said, I want to be world off-road champion.
Really?
World off-road champion, right? Because my uncle, he runs the off-road club for the south of Ireland. So like I grew up like when I was 7, 8, 9, just doing off-road, going off-road with my dad, my uncle, and that's what I loved, and that's all I wanted to do.
At the beginning.
Yeah, before drifting.
You need to send this man.
Before
a Bronco.
We see where it goes.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd love to.
He's pretty busy right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun to like have him come out like for the Baja 1000 one year and be a driver.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's
Something
something
like
I'd love to explore.
Same thing Harry did to you. You could say, hey, James, you on holiday.
I'll call
you on holiday.
but you're still in Ibiza, right? Yeah. Hey, how's your head? You ready to come fly to Mexico right now?
Give me a couple of days. I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah, so in fact, he just did a video. He won't tell you this, but I will. He just did a video with Ford. It's on their YouTube, right?
Yeah.
It was you versus Joey Logano versus Haley Deegan.
Oh, wow.
And like a series of off-road challenges. And James was in the new Raptor Ranger, which, by the way, the Raptors are unbelievable.
They're so fun, man.
And he smoked both of them. you know, these are two top drivers. Haley obviously has the most experience in the dirt, but Joey's a phenomenal driver and like one of the most competitive humans I've ever met in my life. And, you know, James is talking to me the whole time out there and sending me videos, and they're just sending it in these Raptors, like just.
I can't believe how good they are from out of the box.
They're incredible.
Like, they put up with so much abuse. Like we were jumping them, drifting them. Like
So it came natural to you.
yeah, I love it. But I love being behind the wheel.
Dude,
like
you see him in
figure
the
it
field.
out.
It's no different whether you're what you're in. You're in a field on dirt. You know what I mean? Like it just the Raptors just handle better than this freaking Volvo. You know what I mean?
I can see it now. Now this is just me brainstorming, right? Where you only do 2 events in drift. James Deane will only do 2 events in off-road.
You never know, bud.
Could be something.
Well,
You
that's
never
one
know.
thing I noticed is the transition for anybody who's done drifting, the transition to off-road is seamless.
Yeah.
It seems seamless.
I think in motorsport, you know, a lot of people, the current process is karting, right? Everyone's like, oh, I'll get my kids into karts. And I'm like, no, dude, motocross and drifting. Because motocross, you learn how to manage weight, right? Which is all we're doing in anything, right? And if you don't manage your weight right in a dirt bike, you're on the ground, you're hurt.
Yeah, you don't want to do
Right?
that.
And the throttle control, the braking, like all of that is key. And then in drifting, you learn how to drive over the limit. Karting will only teach you to get to the limit. You never get practice driving over the limit in karts. So that's why you see like the road racers. And again, this is no disrespect to anybody, but like most road racers I've come across, a lot of the NASCAR drivers, unless they come off dirt track, when a car gets over the limit, they don't know what to do because they've never practiced there, right? They've honed their craft, their 10,000 master hours at living right at the limit. Whereas we've honed our craft at living over it. So we're in comfort when the chaos comes. You know what I mean? It's more hard for us to reel it back to find that 1/10 of a second by not sliding through that corner. You know what I mean? So that to me is why I believe, you know, you see a guy like this just get in a dirt, you know, on the dirt, and he's like, oh yeah, cool, let's go.
Well, the funny thing is it's hard for road racers to go drifting, to transition in that, because exactly what you said. And the analogy I always give is one of the greatest F1 drivers that played with that limit and tried to go past that limit is, and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong, Ayrton Senna.
Yeah.
He always drove
What's
his
the proper
car.
way of saying that, James?
I would just say
Ayrton Senna?
Ayrton Senna.
Ayrton Senna,
Okay.
yeah. And if you see all his videos driving the F1 cars, he's loose and out of the control because he kept playing with that edge and goes, oh, I'm on the verge of fucking dying right now. Oh, rest his soul, right? But he was always playing with the edge. You know what I mean?
Well,
F1 was so dangerous back then too. No, imagine no hands device.
Oh my
You're doing
gosh.
that speed, and the wheel can just fly off, and that's.
He had an incredible mental game. We were talking about mental game stuff on the way up here, and he used to visualize himself outside of the car doing laps.
Oh, wow.
And he was one of the first drivers I ever heard that really talked about some of like my personal beliefs when it comes to training and visualization and how to prepare for a race. But he, you know, I believe that when you can get to your subconscious and drive in your subconscious, that's when you become your best, right? When you can just let everything go and just fully be in the moment. And he was a driver that talked about that quite often, about getting there. And that is, I'm convinced, what made him one of the best drivers ever is his ability to kind of separate ego and you know, worrying about what happened here or what happened behind and just being in the exact moment. And he articulated that very well.
So that's part of your mental prep going into Long Beach this weekend?
Just in general, whenever I'm approaching motorsport, like before
or a business plan or...
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't really have business plans, but when it comes, you know, it just comes to belief and like living in and seeing it happen, right? And so usually when I show up to a track, off-road's tough because it's not laps. But like before I go to Crandon and off-road or any Formula D track, I'll run hundreds of laps in my head before I get there, because the brain doesn't know the difference. The brain doesn't know the difference between actually being in the car and just being there. In
I
your
get
brain.
it. I do the same shit.
So visualization for me has been a huge key to my success in what I do. And, you know, I've done quite a lot of brain studying and ways to figure out how to get into the zone and how to really just look at things like an athlete. Because I realized early on, like in 2008-ish, and through my career from 04 to 08, I would like show up and I'd be killing it in practice. But then when the pressure hit, I would, make mistakes and I realized it was me. So I hired a, sports psychiatrist by the name of Ross Bentley, who wrote the book Speed Secrets. And
Nice.
he came out to Long Beach 08 and worked with me. And then I won my championship in 2010. And I've just continued to evolve my processes to keep me, where I'm at. Obviously, the reflexes and the physical skill and, are very important to maintain. And despite my little ruler fail, I still keep those pretty strong. And but a lot of the success on the track for anyone that's at top level is right here.
I think you might be in trouble, James. I think he's got this Zen thing going. You might. Wait, let me ask you this: do you see yourself on top of the box?
Oh yeah, I'm here to win this weekend, bud.
So.
He's like, easy work.
So your mental prep. Dude, you're the GOAT.
It's so funny. We literally had this combo in the car on the way here.
Do you do the similar type of prep before an event?
Absolutely, when it comes to running laps in my head. So I could be laying in bed, and that's the best time to do it. You're just sitting on your back, and you can just repeat laps and, focus on a tricky area of a track. And this might happen, after practice and before the main event. Like that night in bed, you're like, okay, I was struggling with this area. And you keep redoing the track in your head. I'll be like doing gears, like everything, like thinking about my foot positions, the whole thing. Do that.
It's no wonder.
Do that 15 times, and your next lap the next morning is easier.
What you had envisioned
it's
in
just
bed.
cleaned up. Yeah. Wow. So that helps. And also, I think when I was younger, I dreamed about being a drift champion so much, like before I ever drove a car, even that I was playing video games, and I would set a target on, drifting a full course like Laguna Seca or something in Gran Turismo, and I would drift the entire track, and I would say, if I make a mistake or spin out or straighten on this lap, I'm never going to be a champion. So I put myself under pressure without even realizing, and I think that trained me to be good under pressure.
It's funny, you guys sharing this story of visualization, right? I do the same bullshit in my head, right? Where things are quiet, there's no disturbances, right? And in a particular either business plan or building a race car, when you're thinking of it in your head, right, you can taste that it's reality. You can taste it, right? And then all of a sudden, when you go out, you go, what you've conjured in your head that that you've envisioned as reality, I'm doing it. I'm getting it done.
I mean, that is the, not to get too woo-woo, but like the
law.
No,
please.
The law of attraction is a real law in our universe. It's a universal law.
Yeah.
And so the reality to manifesting a manifestation, which is such like a woo-woo word, I'm going to manifest this.
No.
You take a thought, and when you can take a thought and put an emotion to it, it makes it that much stronger, right? If the whole world and everything is based on vibration, when you can get that thought, put an emotion to it, you're putting an energy out. And so if you understand the law of attraction, that energy is what attracts that to you. And so that is the secret. And there's literally a book called The Secret that talks about all of that. And like, I am living proof of that reality.
Well, both of you guys are.
Yeah,
both of you guys
really,
are. Shit.
Anyone that is at that successful level, whether they know it or not, is a result of that. Because without the belief and the emotion and the energy of that belief,
fire.
Yes, that fire, the passion, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, woo!
Yeah.
I feel you.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Ooh. Last part. James Deane, the GOAT. All right. Is there now you're slowly becoming like me and Vaughn, right?
No, don't listen to him. 29 till we die, bud. 29 till we die, bud.
Is there anybody in the driver landscape, U.S. and Europe, right, that can even light a candle to you?
For sure.
Oh, who?
Multiple drivers. You mean like
Give me an example.
Someone can.
When you look, like when you saw the it factor in him, right? You're like, man, this kid's crazy, right? So he saw the it factor in you. Who in the landscape of
I think I know this answer.
in FD or Drift Masters, right? And that's another conversation. But is there any drivers you're like?
I think, and I got to experience this firsthand very recently. Manoa.
Yeah.
I think he is the one because they rented my car, my S14.9 for the last round of Drift Masters in Poland. I saw his first lap and it was like the first time that I was able to see one of my cars being driven like I drive my car. So it was like watching myself from the outside.
Oh,
He
wow.
was that good. And I think he's a very talented kid, very passionate, has a great family around him, is 100% dedicated to the game. He has what it takes. And he's putting in so much time, training, simulator, stuff like that. That is the one for me.
Did he drop out of high school too? Or
No, I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
No, he's smarter.
It's funny because James is his greatest idol. I remember he came to Irwindale 2 or so years ago and waited outside the trailer to meet James, and I could just see the admiration in his eyes when James came out. And it was your first time. Was it your first time meeting each other?
I think so, yeah. And before that, I was sending him signed merch and things like that to Japan.
And now he's knocking on his door.
Yeah.
Ready to take him out.
He's really, really good.
He is.
It was just amazing to see and, have time with them. It kind of reminded me a bit of me when I was his age. But yeah, that's one right now that I think is just climbing, really skyrocketing.
When you were younger, did you wait for Vaughn's autograph when you were younger looking up to him?
I don't think I ever got his autograph, to be honest.
No. He's got it on a couple checks, though, now.
On that question, was there any drivers that you looked up to like that?
Oh, for sure. So very early on, definitely Vaughn for the way he was approaching things, dealing with, presenting himself really professionally, driving hard on track, and also having the respect to talk to this random Irish kid that he met a couple of times. He'd always have time for me, and but like I think originally it would have been my brother when I was very young, and when I was watching D1 videos like. I'd say Taniguchi in the HKSS 15. Yeah, exactly.
No one better.
No one better. It's so cool. And I just loved his driving style, and I used to study that a lot. Like, he was so calm from the inside, like no crazy erratic moves, and the car was just dancing from the outside. And that was kind of an inspiration for me to be like really tidy behind the wheel.
Here. James Deane in 5 years. What do you see?
39 years old, a lot more gray hair probably. What do I see? I think keep
8-time champion.
I don't know.
That's why I wore my Michael Jordan.
Five is definitely more than I ever dreamed of. Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
That's so crazy.
I really wanted a fourth because I wanted to back it up that we could win it in a different car and a new challenge. So like when I got 4 last year, it was super special to me, and we had to work hard to, get to that point.
Catching on fire at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, exactly. I did a lot of homework in the off season, and team worked super hard building a brand new chassis and worked with me to make it my own. And yeah, so I never really thought about 5 that much. I was actually, this year kind of happened just really smoothly. Like, the car worked better than ever. It was, the team were on point more than ever, and we were just driving well every time we got here. Everybody gelled really well together, and before we knew it, we're, sitting on top.
So what do you think, 6 next year?
I don't know. Like, right now, yeah, I'm definitely planning on coming back. And we're working on some very exciting things, and both in FD and in Drift Masters with the Mustang there. And I'd love to win Drift Masters with the Mustang, because that would be, that's a big deal. Like the level over there as well is skyrocketing.
Well, this is your first year on the RTR Mustang year, right?
Yeah. So we built a car in my shop with the help of RTR and the engineers, and we built the car in 6 weeks and then shipped it straight out. So
he basically got a Mustang in a box.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was a big jigsaw puzzle.
But he got the full body in white. So they did all the cutting and chassis and cage, and then we sent
All the parts.
A lot of parts.
a lot of parts.
A lot of expensive parts.
Yeah.
So that's the next part. Win a
Yeah,
championship
so
with the
I'd love to. Like we came 5th this year, which was really good, and we're very close to 3rd step, considering it was our first year with no testing. So now I think we can evolve that over the off season, come back fighting next year. That's the plan. Definitely want to do some cool media projects in Europe. Maybe build.
I was
something.
entertained by some of your videos.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to build something unique that somebody has never built before, as like a fun project that blows people's minds. Yeah. Things like that. So 5 years time, I keep growing the business that I have in Ireland, and keep just expanding and growing, and most importantly having fun. And like I want to keep drifting as long as I'm putting smiles on people's faces. Like that's what does it for me. I love the way it's growing, the energy from the fans, and it's just like skyrocketing at the moment.
You know what I thought that was kind of cool is you put out a video and it was you standing in the dome or whatever, and you're like, I got 3 of these cars and 3 drivers. You're just like, wow, multiple drivers under the I guess 130 Motorsports camp, right?
Yep.
And I was just like, what's going to happen in Europe? What is 130 Motorsports going to do? You know what I mean?
We need to get this boy over, I think. He needs to come and play in Drift Masters if he has some time.
Looking in the crystal ball, same thing, right?
Yeah.
RTR in 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah, well, I think, for me personally is, on my priority list is being a good father and husband. Love my boys. I'm having so much fun with them, and excited to see where that journey goes.
Be careful. Those suckers grow up quick.
Dude,
they
noticed.
grow
That's
quick.
why I said that's part of my priority is to get that time. But as far as, RTR goes, you were just at our reveal. We revealed our first production vehicle with Ford, which is been absolute dream. And so I see, continuing to evolve that relationship while we continue to build our spec vehicle line, and, both Bronco, Mustang, like I've just got vision along with, my team, and for just continue to put out really badass production based vehicles, and continuing to, evolve and be a part of Formula Drift with a multi-car team for sure. Continue to evolve with James and grow that program in Europe. And, I see us having global efforts around. Like we're about to debut a time attack program with a driver in Europe that we've been working on in the background, and that's going to be coming out. Should be by the end of this month, so I can mention that. So yeah, we're just living motorsports passion, bringing the learnings to not only production vehicles straight out of Ford factories, but also our RTR production vehicles that we design and build on our own. And, continuing to expand and off-road and support our drivers. For me, the drivers that we bring onto the team, James is obviously well established, but drivers like Ben and Bailey, and like continuing to develop them and grow their profiles and help them achieve their dreams. So for me, like that is the all encompassing passion, right? Is like, do the cool shit and follow my passion, help others achieve their goals, and just keep this machine running that supports so many families and so many others' passions, right? Dude. It's just a machine, but also I don't want to get too much bigger, because I've also realized that our magic is in our nimbleness and the ability to have a certain energy and a certain passion inside of the walls. And I believe that when you get too big, it's really hard to hold that. So for me right now you said next 3 to 5 or 4 years, like that's where my head's at. And, just leading with the heart, man.
Yeah. That's the best. And passion. And it just naturally comes, doesn't it? Just
it
naturally comes. One last question. That I'll end with the show. Greatest memory or experience, let's start with you, Vaughn. Greatest memory or experience with Nitto. You know, and some suggestions are, you know, hanging out with Harry at Mustang Week, and it could be things like that, or the help in the development of the 315, could be anything.
Yeah. You know, I want to say just about Nitto as a whole, you know, I mentioned a lot about me. I'm just an enthusiast. And the reason why I went to Nitto was because they focus on tires for enthusiasts. It's not just their tagline.
Mm-hmm.
It is literally what they do. There's no tire company out there that understands the customer, the enthusiast customer, better than Nitto. So for me, racing on their off-the-shelf off-road tires, drifting on off-the-shelf drift tires, all of our RTRs come with the Nitto NT55 G2 on them.
Yeah.
And it's not because of my relationship with Nitto. I truly believe that tire is the best all-around tire for doing Mustang things. Yeah. And the only way you get there is by understanding what people are actually doing with their cars and listening. Yeah. And so when I got with Nitto, you know, in 2013, we had to do some crazy stuff to our cars to make them work, because that NT05 in drifting was not the most competitive tire compared to what else was out there. Yeah. But that mindset of Nitto's want to win, and their commitment to making sure we had what we needed and developing that G2, was just such an eye opener. And that entire process was great, right? Because there was struggle, and we worked as a team to work with the struggle. I, as a driver, had to drive the craziest car to make it work, and we won together with that. But you guys saw the struggle, and then there was struggle in the company, you know, to always get a new tire approved and stuff like that is always effort, you know? So like you guys were fighting, we're fighting, you know, on the track, and like, not like fighting, but like
LFG.
Pushing.
Yeah.
LFG.
Pushing. Let's fucking go.
And then when we got that tire, and now, you know, put us right where we needed to be. And by no means is it a cheater tire, right?
No.
I want to say that, like, believe me, we asked, can't we just put a number on the tire? And Nitto, because we're like, hey, you have the NT01, can't we just put a number on it? And Nitto's like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah. Like we're honest, you know, and by the book. But there was other people in the series just put numbers on tires.
Yeah, they were.
So anyway, I really enjoyed that process, and it made us like so tight, and like created a really strong partnership. So for me, like, that journey together has been awesome. And I think there's part of that every time we hit the track, you know? So
we're honored to serve RTR.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would consider the RTR family, you know what I mean?
Dude, it goes both ways.
That's how I see
everyone,
it.
Everyone on the team loves you
mad
guys.
Love.
Yeah.
Your experience so far, even though it's been brief, right? With Nitto,
third season, and you know, I can't complain. 2 championships in 3 years. But my favorite memory, I would say, is probably just the whole episode of the event in Long Beach last year with the fire. And you know, I came into that event really believing that this is my best chance of ever winning a championship again. You know, that's the way I was looking at the whole season. And then that fire happened. I'm like, it's over, it's done. You know, everyone looked at the car, and our first thoughts were like, it's over. Like Vaughn was looking at it thinking, right, will you drive my demo car? Because he was ready to call the team in RTR and get them to drive across his demo car, so I had a car, at least something to compete with. But, you know, turning that whole event around and having the support from Nitto, supporting us no matter what we do. And
you won that on the rain.
Yeah, we won in the rain.
Torrential downpour.
That was the first time, man.
From rain to fire, baby.
Yeah.
Fire to rain.
First time Mustang won under wet, was it? I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know I didn't win any in the wet.
But no, we met at work, and it was just the start of what turned out to be an unbelievable season, and finishing off by taking the win in Irwindale was just a dream year. And yeah, so 3 years have flown by, and looking forward to hopefully many more.
You know what's funny? The first year you were under the RTR banner, right? At Irwindale, and you podiumed. I was like, damn, this dude's got a dislocated arm, and he beat everybody, or got on the podium, right, with one arm tied behind his back.
Literally.
One arm tied behind his back. I was just like,
don't think I want to do that again. That was a scary experience.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. But you fought through that type of excruciating pain and podiumed that sucker. Damn.
Yeah, it all kind of happened, obviously it was our first season. I didn't want to just quit because we're in a crash, I knew we're like a chance of
a fender bender,
That's a company man right there.
I didn't want to like fall back in the standings because I think we had a chance of being like 4th or 5th in the championship in the first season. So I'm like, I don't want to give up. So we skipped practice, and then I was like, okay,
give me 4 Tylenols.
We're battling Kyle in top 32, and then I knew I was going to battle Deane Carney, and like we're good buddies. Always have a good time on and off the track, and I was like, right, I'd love to do that, get into at least top 16, have a good run with Deane and see what happens. So we ended up beating Kyle, ended up beating Deane, and then we're just like, oh, it's top 8, I'm close to the podium, like keep going.
Yeah.
But like the team were strapping me in. Had to do my belts, my helmet, my hands device, and then lifting me out by this hand because I couldn't lift my own weight. So it was just
what kind of pain?
It was impressive.
Out of 10, what was it? Out of 10? 7, 6, 8?
It was probably I would say resting pain was probably 6. But if you caught it in a moment, if you just lengthen it and the pressure, it was instant sharpness. It was probably 9 or 10.
Yeah.
It was enough to put tears in my eyes for sure. And I was just
I'm in pain right now.
Every time going into that inner bank, I was probably going in there harder than I ever did because I'm like, there's no way someone else is hitting me. You know what I mean? I'm not getting in another crash. Because if I crashed again, I would have been in serious trouble.
That would have been bad. Yeah. That would have been bad.
But I was just like, damn, this fool's crazy.
For the record, too, I had to talk to him like, bud, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
There was zero pressure from our side for him to do anything. We were happy with him sitting back, but his literal motto is never give up. Like that's literally, this head is that. And like he rises.
I think it's the country of Ireland.
Dude, when it comes to challenges, this man rises to the occasion like no other. It's been incredible to witness his tenacity and just the heart that he has. It's incredible.
You're a crazy motherfucker. You are
sometimes for sure. It's in there somewhere.
One more question before you go. And again, much gratitude, mad love for you guys showing up, and mad love for just everything you do.
Thank you, Ron.
Right? This is an eerie round 8, right? And you won against D1 the World Championships at Irwindale. Irwindale is finally dead, right? Now we're going into Long Beach. I don't know. I think it's gonna be slow as shit, right? And boring if you ask me. But what's your thoughts on this round 8 round?
I think Irwindale, as a whole, James and myself, I've had some of my greatest memories of my career. 05 USA versus Japan win, 2007 World Championship.
Dude, I was so proud of you when you were standing on top of the car during that. I was there.
My first FD win, 2 championships there. It's a special place.
It is a special place.
It is the House of Drift. It is a special place for drifting in America. And so I'm grateful that we got so many false alarms and we're told it was going to be closed and didn't. But now that it's officially gone, it's sad. I keep saying all year this year, everyone's like, oh, what round are you doing? I'm doing Atlanta and Irwindale. Oh, it's not Irwindale. I'm doing Long Beach.
It's not Irwindale.
And so it's sad, but with every change, there's got to be some light to it. So I'm excited for the challenge of the weekend. The vibe in Long Beach is epic. The city really opens up and comes to life when motorsports in town, right? Grand Prix has been here forever. So it's a great place for the final if it's going to be in Southern California. They built a track that, to your point, may be slower, but it's going to enable some really great battles.
Yeah.
And it's a great stadium setting and everyone's really close to it. So I think there's some light to it, but that's always what I see is the light.
James?
Yeah, same. Like Irwindale, very special memories there. Is the first time I've witnessed FD outside of the World Championship. So I visited Irwindale many times just watching FD for the final. And yeah, we got our 4 championships there. You know, it's a very, very special place. And I personally don't think it can be really top for a while because it just had this nostalgic feeling and everyone had a story from Irwindale. Everyone had like crashes, championships, you know, dreams shattering, whatever the case may be. It was
you've shattered a lot of people's dreams.
it was and it was a very intense track. Like you needed to be all in at Irwindale. You know, I found it to be actually one of the hardest tracks for me. And last year was the first time we ever won there, so that was cool.
Dude, firing into that inner bank, there's nothing like that.
You're praying it's going to stick.
Dude, the transition, that's.
I'm sure Deane has some very fond memories of firing into the inner bank.
Yeah, for sure.
So some I'd rather forget.
Well, thank you for coming. It's an honor to be speaking with you and coming to the show, especially the GOAT of drifting.
Thank you, man.
And Mr. Shelby, I'm a fan of your work. I'm a fan of your driving. Sorry, James, I got to root for the old guy. I wish you the best of luck. This will be happening after Long Beach, so hopefully I'll be at $1,500 instead of $500 with Vaughn Gittin.
Let's get it. Dinner's on you, bud.
You already got the championship. You need to be
nice. Pike Saturday night. You got the tab.
You got to respect your elders.
I'll have a drink from the tab for sure.
So, thank you again. This was the latest episode with James and Vaughn Gittin Jr., the GOAT, and Mr. Shelby himself. I hope you enjoyed the podcast on the latest episode of Let's Be RONest. Be sure to subscribe on Driving Line and or Nitto Tire. Nitto or nothing. Peace out. Thanks.